We're learning Zitli Nishmas Etta Ahuva Batzaka Masechus Nedarim Perek Vav Mishna Ches. Nedarim min hatmarim muter b'dvash tamarim. If someone makes a neder from dates, he's allowed to have the honey that comes out of dates. Mrs. Vaniyos, if he makes a neder that he's not going to eat the bad grapes that are left on the vineyard in the time of the winter, and those grapes are not used for wine, they're only used for making vinegar. Mutter b'choimitz sisvaniyos, he's allowed to have the vinegar that comes out of them, because he only made a neder from the sisvaniyos himself, from the fruit themselves. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseiro, no, kol sheshem toldasa kuria alav v'neider himenu aser af b'yotzei himenu. Since the choimitz is referred to a choimitz sisvaniyos, and his neder was from sisvaniyos, so therefore he's aser also in the sisvaniyos. The svara of Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira was brought earlier when we spoke about the chalav and the kum, the watery part of the milk, and we said that if in the place that it was called chalav, it would be aser even on the kum. So l'chayr, that's the same svara that we're saying over here. The choimitz sisvaniyos, since it's called basar the sisvaniyos, it's aser. So the Ran explains the reason of the Tanakama is either in one of two pshatim. The first shot he brings from the Rashba that over here is worse than the chalav, because over here it's also nishtan haguf, looks totally different, as opposed to the chalav looks the same. The kum looks the same when it's in the chalav and when it's taken away from the chalav. Over here, since it's nishtan haguf, it's more of a svara to be mutter. The second svara he says is over here, because there's lots of different types of choimitz, so just to differentiate, you happen to call it choimitz sisvaniyos, but it's not really related to the sisvaniyos, and therefore it's mutter. The third shita, chachamim matirim, chachamim are matir, so it sounds like it's the Tanakama. The Gemara asks, Hainu Tanakama. The Gemara says it's actually exactly opposite of the Tanakama, because the Tanakama held that when you made a neder from sisvaniyos, so you're allowed to have the choimitz, but you're going to be aser in the sisvaniyos, in the pri itself. And chachamim hold, the Gemara explains this really, that the opposite, that when he made a neder from these sisvaniyos, since the main thing that they're used for is the choimitz, so the opposite, you're asking yourself on the choimitz, and on the sisvaniyos you're going to be mutter. Mishna tes hanoider min hayayim mutter biyayin tapuchim. Someone makes a neder from wine, he's allowed to have the juice that comes out of apples, because that's not generally referred to as yayin. Yayin is referring to yayin of anavim. Min hashemen is mutter b'shemen shum shemen. He's allowed to have sesame seed oil, because oil in general is oil of olive oil. Min hadvash, if he makes an neder from dvash, is mutter b'dvash tamarim, because dvash normally is not referring to the dvash that comes out of the tamarim. Min hachoimitz, mutter b'chis choimitz sisvaniyos, because vinegar is from wine, and not from these sisvaniyos. Min hakrishim, if someone makes a neder that he's not going to have krishin or karti, is mutter b'kafloitis, which is a type of krishin, but it wasn't the general term used for referred to when you made a neder from krishin. Min hayerek is mutter b'yarkes hasada, he's allowed to have the vegetables that grew by themselves in the field. Mimnei shehu shem levai, because that's its own special name. And the Gemara is mavur that it really depends on what time of year. B'shar shnei shvuos, so then when he makes a neder from yerek, he's referring to the yerek of a garden, and not the yerek in the sada that grew by itself. But the shvius, the opposite, you're not allowed to plant during shvius. So therefore he's referring to the yerakus of the sada during shvius. The Gemara clarifies dafki in a place where during Shemitah they didn't bring vegetables from chutz la'aretz, because if they brought vegetables from chutz la'aretz, then weiter he could be referring to yeregino when he makes a neder from yerek. All these things, again, the Gemara over here reiterates that shemen, when we're saying that it's referring to, not stafka referring to shemen zayis and not shemen shum shemim, so that depends on the place. That was dafka in Eretz Yisrael. In Babel, they happen to refer to shemen as shemen shum shemim. So all these halachas obviously have to do with akol lefi azman, akol lefi eis. By Nedarim, the klal, as we said before, is halach achal loshem adam. So it really depends on what is referred to when people speak. What are they referring to when they say that item of food?